everybody, my name is Sophie the Bookish Floor. So today I'm gonna try and do a reading blog where I read one book a day. So today I am starting with book 1, which is gonna be a Northanger Abbey. Now you're probably gonna notice this, but as I was editing this video, I realized that I don't have an intro or an outro for this video. I don't know where that went. I only have videos where I already have started my reading journey, and I'm talking to you about Northanger Abbey. So this is me explaining what I'm doing. So I try to do a challenge a month. I started doing this last year, and it's been really successful for me in reading more and also reading whatever I actually want to read, like my mood reads, those books that maybe are not as popular, or maybe I just have like in the back burner and I haven't been able to read, or shorter books, or depending on my week. So what I'm doing this week is picking whatever I want. And yeah, so the first one that I'm picking is one for my Janie A 250B Day Book Club, which is a really long name for my Jane Austen book club. We're reading Jane Austen all the time. I have it on Storygraph and on Fable if you want to join in any of those platforms. I know a lot of people prefer Storygraph, so we are right there also. You can join in Spanish, in English, whatever language. Just put on your comments right there in the platform if you want, and if not, just do your reading journey, and then I'll do a live where you can join and we can discuss the book. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start with Northanger Abbey, which is one of my favorite Jane Austen books. This is a reread for me, and hopefully you will be joining me. So next time you'll see me, I'll have a little bit of an update and I'll tell you more about the book. Hey everybody, so let's do a quick update on Northanger Abbey, which is the book that I'm listening to right now. If you guys don't know, Northanger Abbey is one of the books that Jane Austen first wrote, and she wrote that when she was very young. However, it was one of the last ones to be published, and a lot of people don't necessarily like it because it obviously, when you compare it to Pride and Prejudice or Sense and Sensibility or Emma, it doesn't necessarily live up to that, because it's not, I would guess, for people as complex. However, if you think about it, it is, and it's also a book about book readers. It's a book about books. It's a book about imagination and about curiosity, and it's a YA book basically. So we are following Kathy Mullen, who is a young girl. She lives in the country with her family, and in those times, when your family didn't have a lot of chance to travel or do different things, other people would sort of be your sponsors, and they would take you on like family trips and things like that. So they have a close family acquaintance who invites Kathy Mullen to spend a season with her, like at Bath. And she goes there and she meets Henry Tilney, and they quickly form a friendship, and she forms a friendship with his sister also. But then she also forms a friendship with the Thorpes, and the Thorpes are Isabella Thorpe, who is a girl who is being courted by Kathy Mullen's brother, and Isabella Thorpe's brother wants to court Miss Mullen, Kathy Mullen. So we have sort of like a triangle there, but not really, because Kathy Mullen is really enamored with Mr. Tilney and the family and all that. However, Kathy Mullen reads a lot of novels. She has a really big imagination. She loves Gothic novels. And when she's invited to Northanger Abbey, which is Mr. Tilney's family home, she is kind of taking her imagination to the next level, imagining what happened to his mother, she died there. They're not allowed to go visit her room or her quarters. So she seems to think that everything is very mysterious. Mr. Tilney is very charming. He jokes a lot. If you guys don't know, all of the books of Jane Austen are basically comedies. The time they're also like comedic critiques on society. So she's very naive. He is always joking around, but she takes it a little bit too seriously. And I'm almost, so spoilers now, I'm almost at the end. I'm where they just found out that Miss Thorpe is kind of thinking that she's gonna get engaged to Mr. Tilney's brother, because Miss Thorpe is really someone who is trying to move up in society, and they seem to believe that Kathy Molan and her brother and her family are gonna be heirs of the people who are kind of sponsoring Kathy Molan's trip, right? But they're not. They're like family friends, and they're not gonna take advantage of that. But other people are wanting to do that. So once they see that they're not gonna be getting a bigger living for the brother marrying Miss Thorpe, then her affections move quickly to Mr. Tilney's brother, who is a general or a captain, something like that, in the army, who's a little bit better, well off. And yeah, I'm up to there. So I really like this book because, like I said, it's a book about readers. It's a book, they mention so many authors. They mention a lot of books there. You can read all the books that are mentioned in Northanger Abbey. You have this fantasy also of Kathy Molan living in a fantasy world, having a big imagination, because she is still a teenager. I believe she's like 15 when this is going on. And obviously Mr. Tilney, although he's charming and nice and understanding, he still kind of has his feet on reality, and although he understands her, he's still kind of taken a little bit aback of her maybe thinking like ill of his father when he has been so gracious with her. So yeah, there in that section of the book, it's a little bit different. If you have seen the Masterpiece Classic adaptation, and I might see it later on because I love doing that too, watching the adaptations of the books. It's a little bit different. It does take on a bit of a more gothic spirit a little bit, so makes it a little bit more fun. But definitely I think Northanger Abbey is one of those underrated Jane Austen books. If you have a teenager who wants to get into Jane Austen, but maybe perhaps Pride and Prejudice or Emma or Sense and Sensibility seems a little bit too complicated, Northanger Abbey I think is the best one. They're teenagers, they're doing teenagery things, they're having fun. You have like the mean girl, like you have everything, and it's very clear, like Miss Thorpe and her brother are very clearly villains, and you can see it from the beginning, and you kind of want to shake Kathy Molan a little bit sometimes. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and I've always liked it. It has like a special place in my heart, even though it's one of the last Jane Austen book that I read. I wish I would have read it when I was a teenager, and this is obviously a reread for the Janie A 250 B-Day book club. That's the whole name, because Jane Austen turns, I guess, 250 years this year, 250 years since she was born, and the fact that she gave the world such a gift of her novels, and I think it's very important. So this year we're gonna be reading it in the book club. If you guys want to join, I'm gonna put the details down there in the description. But yeah, that's the book update for now. Having a lot of fun. I'm gonna continue the book. I think I have like half an hour left, and then I'll let you know how it ended up and what book I'm reading next.
where the folks all sway. See the kids at play in the sunlit day. Balloons up they rise, chasing endless skies. Laughter in their eyes under blue clear skies.
Good morning, it's day 2 of reading blog, reading other birds, and I think I'm gonna start listening today while I prepared little reader's lunch.
Soft winds gently blow, flowers in a row. Hear the rivers flow, to the town they go. Birds in morning light, ready for their flight, shining oh so bright, through the day and night. Do-do-do-do-do, happy feelings too. Life's a big bright hue, with a joyful view. Do-do-do-do-do, happy feelings too. Life's a big bright hue, with a joyful view.
Good morning, everybody. Day 3 of reading a book in a day. So today I was planning on reading The Old Man Who Read Romance Novels, I think it's called. It's a book in Spanish by Luis Sepúlveda. In Spanish, I think it's el viejo hombre que leía novelas románticas, and I started listening to it this morning. And then I went out on an errand, and when I came back, we had no power. I was able to use my data to download something else, so I'm gonna start listening to the Keeper of Enchanted Rooms right now. I went out for some coffee because I also cannot turn my stove on to warm my water and make my coffee, so it's a whole thing. So I think what I'm gonna do now is listen to that while I clean a little bit. Nothing too exciting. And then I guess I'll tell you an update once I start listening to the book. Hey everybody, I just realized I never updated you on what was it that I was reading? Other Birds. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that while I clean my face for the day. So the thing about Other Birds is that it's written by the same author who wrote Garden Spells, and I really like Garden Spells. I think I gave it 5 stars or 4 stars, but it's like practical magic, a little bit southern, very cute, like you know exactly where it's going. Other Birds, it's also like southern. It's about this girl who inherits a house. I think it's more like an apartment building or something like that, because someone else in that complex, I guess, passes away, and she is cleaning up that space. And then the whole book, it's about the story of the people who live there, I guess, and then some ghosts, right? So the lady who died and her sister and other people's stories are also being told. But because they talk about ghosts, it has sort of like this magical element, like this fantasy element. There's so many characters. There's like the girl with the magic, there's someone else that she's involved with, there's someone else who lives in the building, who's I guess kind of like a manager there, who's an older gentleman. There's the lady who passed away, there's the son. So she ends up, the girl who moves there ends up contacting the son to see if he wants to keep some of his mom's stuff. So those are like the living people. But then you have like her mom. So the main character, I think her name is Liz. I'm not even sure because there are so many. It's her mom who's passed away, so she's kind of like the ghost. Is the mom of Oliver, who is the lady they're cleaning, so she's kind of like another ghost. You have the sister who is another ghost, and there's like so many, and the ghosts, I guess, they're kind of around, they're kind of following them and being like close to them, but it's never really like established clearly. And there's so many characters that I was never able to follow each and every single one of the stories, and yeah, like try to pay attention, but like you can kind of get the gist of it, but I feel like it was a little bit discombobulated and disconnected. So I gave it 3 stars, but I'm not sure if it's like me or if it's the book, because yesterday, like, I only had like an hour left this morning, so I knew it was already at the ending, and there was so much happening in that last hour, and I thought, how can you have all this information in the last hour and then the other like 5 hours felt like eternal and like we got nothing. Garden spells was great because we knew there was magic, and I guess in this one there's supposed to be magic, but it kind of like it's treated more like magical realism, and I feel like it didn't land it. So it didn't land. So I didn't really like it that much. Like I said, I gave it 3 stars because I think it could have been me, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that's that. I guess that's my opinion on Other Birds. And on the other hand, right now, because the power went off, I'm listening to Keeper of Enchanted Rooms. The power actually came back, and I could go back to the audiobook that I was listening to, but I'm actually gonna keep listening to the Keeper of Enchanted Rooms because I'm really liking it, and that's pure magic, and it's something similar. It's about this guy who inherits. It's kind of 2 stories. It's dual timeline because we see this guy who has magical powers, and he has a dad who is kind of a drunk, and at the very beginning, this is not a spoiler because it happens literally like in the first like 10 minutes of the audiobook. Like the dad comes in, he's kind of violent, and he starts being violent towards the son, and he accidentally the dad, right? And then you flash forward to like a century later, and this guy who is a writer inherits a house from his grandma who he's never met. So he inherits this house, and they tell him, you know, that house is like haunted, and he's like, yeah, right, whatever. It's in the middle of like a little island. He's like, great for me to write. I can write anywhere, and I'll just send my work to the publisher. I've been alone for like ever, and that's fine. I can work with the house. I don't have to pay rent. Free house, great. He gets there, the house is in impeccable shape, although they tell him that no one has lived there for like 100 years. And he's like, awesome, the house is great. And then turns out it's haunted. And then the next point of view that we have is from this girl who works at a department for magical houses, enchanted houses, and she is in charge of whenever someone who doesn't have like magic abilities inherits one of the houses, it is their job to keep people with magic safe and to keep the houses safe. So she goes to the house to put everything in order and help this guy preserve the house. So I'm right there. Magic right from the beginning. The house is kind of making this guy's life miserable, and he's a little bit scared. So right now she's like moving in and try to teach him how to take care of the house. So that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm already having a lot of fun with it. And then we have like the dual POV of the guy who like his dad, and how he like it's coming into his powers. There's necromancies and all that. And he is gonna, I think, move into this house like centuries beforehand. So we're gonna see how they ended up with that house in his family, I guess. So that's where I'm at. I'm listening to Keeper of Enchanted Rooms. And yeah, I'm really liking it. So I'm going to keep listening to that. And then I'll let you know what I think about it later on while I continue with my day.
View. Soft winds gently blow, flowers in a row. Hear the rivers flow, to the town they go. Birds in morning light, ready for their flight, shining oh so bright, through the day and night. Do-do-do-do-do, happy feelings too, life's a big bright. life's a big bright hue with a joyful.
Good morning, everybody. It is day 4 of the blog, of the daily reading blog. And yesterday I didn't catch up with you after I had listened to a little bit of Keeper of Enchanted Rooms. So I was still listening to it for a little while. I'm liking it. I'm liking all the magical vibes. So there's pretty much like a whole system set up now for the house. They are the main owner has hired a bunch of people to take care of the house, because the house, in order for the house to behave and let him live there, they have to hire like proper, like a cook, like a housekeeper, all that. So with the help of this girl who works in the magical house department to keep them up to date and all that, he is getting like his staff that is gonna probably be like his found family and all that. So listening to that, I didn't get a chance to finish it yesterday. I had like a lot of things to do. I had another video to edit from last week that I didn't get a chance to upload, so that's gonna be coming this week also with this video. So hopefully everything will be up by Sunday. So you're probably gonna have like 3 videos from me on Sunday. But yeah, I'm doing that. And so today I'm gonna continue that book. So right now on my 3rd book, even though it's day 4, hopefully I'll finish it in a couple of hours, and then I'll start another one. It's probably gonna have to be a shorter one for today because I'm doing that, and then I'm editing another book. I'm gonna go ahead and make my coffee. My water is boiling right there, and then I'm gonna eat my breakfast and continue listening and editing, and I'll bring you along a little bit with me. Hey everybody, so I'm still on Keeper of Enchanted Rooms. I'm almost done. I was editing and my computer was giving me a lot of problems. But I already uploaded 2 videos that by the time you see this, those videos are gonna be up. So if you wanna go ahead and see those, if you haven't, I uploaded one about how to put different types of books in your bookshelves, how to fill them up with different types of reading, and then another one in Spanish about how to become a avid reader if you are just starting your journey. So yeah, go ahead and check those out. But let's talk about Keeper of Enchanted Rooms. So there's like this whole interesting thing that it's going on. There's like a villain that is after like the girl who is taking care of the house. But also both of them have like a past, I guess. I don't want to spoil too much. So obviously, like I knew it, there were vibes from the beginning, and they are falling in love. They don't know they're falling in love with each other. When the villain comes and wants to attack her or seek revenge on her, he defends her, and that's when she realizes, oh my god, I think I have feelings for this guy. And he obviously already knows because he's like so worried about her. And they are finally kind of gonna confess to each other, and then he sees a girl who he was supposed to marry, and then he's kind of like, I have to confront her, I have to see what's going on. So she's totally devastated. This is like a 3rd act breakup. They aren't even together. They haven't said anything to each other, but because we already know that they're in love, we already know that they wanted to confess. And he goes, and instead of being like, oh whatever, she's there, but I don't care anymore, and he spirals and wants to confront her. Obviously the other girl is gonna think that he still has feelings for her. So she like gets mad, they get into a fight, not there, like she goes away, and then when they finally meet back again, she's like, bye, I'm leaving, I'm getting assigned another house. So he thinks that she's totally like that she doesn't care about him, the house, or anything, and they have a fight. Miscommunication trope. And I'm like, why do I have this is not a romance book. So, and they're not even together, so why am I getting a 3rd act breakup and then the miscommunication trope? But because I am having so much fun with the story, I'm gonna keep going. But those are my 2 least favorite tropes. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Um, but anyways, I do feel like it's taking forever for me to listen to this book because I had to edit today. Yeah, I had to pay more attention to that, and I had to take breaks, and then my computer wasn't working, and then my neck is killing me, so everything is slower. So anyways, I'm still listening to it. I think I'm gonna be done. It's almost 2 o'clock. I think I'm gonna be done by 3, hopefully, with this book. I think I only have like half an hour to go, and then I'm gonna start the second one, which is actually one that I'm already started, which is The Old Man Who Read Romance Novels. I think I'm gonna continue it today because it's a shorter book. It's like a 3-hour book, so I think I want to do that one for the rest of the day, so that will kind of as my book for actually today. And yeah, and the other book it's also in Spanish and in English. Like there I have the two versions. So I'm gonna listen to the original in Spanish, and then I think I want to make a video of the comparing, contrasting those two books, because I've said before that literature in Spanish, I have a really hard time like concentrating on language. It tends to be very I feel like overworked, very flowery sometimes, or very stylized, like over stylized. In Spanish, they don't say things like normally, and then when they translate them, they say it how they're supposed to say it in real life. That's a whole different video. So I think I might do that video later on. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in something like that, compare and contrast. But anyway, I'm gonna continue. Right now, I'm just gonna rest a little bit, finish my book, and then prepare for the next one.
Near a corner cafe where the folks all sway. See the kids at play in the sunlit day. Balloons up they rise, chasing endless skies. Laughter in their eyes under blue, clear ties. Do-do-do-do-do. Happy feelings too. Life's a big bright hue with a joyful view. Soft winds gently blow, flowers in a row. Hear the rivers flow, to the town they go. Birds in morning light, ready for their flight, shining oh so bright, through the day and night. Do-do-do-do-do. Happy feelings too. Life's a big bright hue with a joyful view.
Hey everybody, good morning. It's day 5 of my weekly challenge of trying to see if I can read a book in a day. Yesterday, like I said at the beginning of the day, I had like horrible neck pain, and that pretty much kept going even when I just did that. Like it hurt right here all day, so I kept activity to a minimum. Anywho, I finished Keeper of Enchanted Rooms. I'm glad that I read it. I really liked it. It's kind of like the cozy fantasy that I like magical houses, things like that. So I really liked it. I'm kind of like in my fantasy magical era. Like everything that I'm reading fantasy wise, I'm really enjoying it. It's really fun. So I guess this is my year for fantasy. And yeah, I really like that I gave it 4 stars because, like I said, those things really kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but other than that it was fine. And then I started El Viejo que leía novelas de amor, I think it's called. The Old Man Who Read Romance Novels, I think it's called. It's like a 3-hour audiobook, so I'm about halfway done. It's about this guy who grows up like in a small town in Peru, and there's like they're kind of close to the jungle, and there's this dentist. The whole story starts with this dentist and how the small town kind of goes and visits the dentist, and he's still a little rough. And then there's sort of like a murder in town, I guess, and some people think, oh yeah, these people are murdering, and then he's like, no, just look at them, it's like the wildlife that we have around. We live in the jungle, like. but he's not the main character. It's like this other person who then gets married like very young in town, and then something's hap like they go and move to another town, and they're kind of, it's very quick, they're not living happily, so the wife leaves, and he decides to stay. And then in there he finds like someone like in church or a temple, well, not a temple, in like in church or a church school type setting where they share books with them, in the library, and he finds romance novels, and he's really getting into the whole idea because he was really like into love and into the marriage and all that. So I'm up to there, so I don't know where this book is going. I heard that people have liked it, so I decided to pick it up, and it's a very quick read. I think I have about an hour left, so I'm probably gonna do some not some errands, I'm gonna do some home tasks, and while I do that, I'm gonna listen to the rest of the book, and then hopefully today I can start a new one. Everybody, day 5, last day, and yes, I'm still in my same outfit. Remember, I forgot the intro and the outro, so this is gonna be it. I didn't get to tell you about the last book that I read, which was El Viejo que leía novelas de amor. I was able to only read technically 4 books. I ended up reading The Old Man Who Read romance novel. Yeah, the dentist ended up having quite a role at the end. I don't want to spoil it. And really, this book is about colonialism. A lot of books from Latin America are gonna be about colonialism because it is a big part of history of our culture. It's a big part of people understanding who we are, us understanding who we are. And yeah, it's still a whole thing. It's a lot about nature, it's about respecting nature and habitats, it's a lot about respecting cultures. So yeah, it's a very short book that packs a punch. It has a lot to say about foreigners and tourists and colonialism and respect for the people, for the land, for the culture, for the nature that you are visiting. And yeah, it's there's a lot in there that like I said, packs a punch, and I really did like that. So yeah, that was that book. And yeah, I think this was a really successful blog. If you are planning on maybe wanting to get into reading a little bit more and not sure how to do it, for me it works perfectly that I pick books that will fit on my 8-hour morning schedule. That is the time that I have mostly free. That's also the time where I do my own work. After the afternoon, my time is not my own. I share my time with my family, so really the morning is a time where I do my work, and I can also read or listen to audiobooks while I do other things, and I take advantage of that. So I make sure that I pick books that will fit that frame, or if it's a longer book, I know that it's gonna take me like 2 or 3 days within that time period during the day. But yeah, I really liked it. Let me know if you like this kind of blog. It's a little bit more chill. I show you what I'm reading, talk to you about what I'm reading, while also showing you some of the chores or things that I did around the house. My haircut, it's looking pretty okay. Like I said, it's just a trim, so don't panic for those of you who are seeing me cut my hair. If I want like a full style, I would go to a professional, but because it's just a trim, I'll do it myself. Uh, but anyways, thank you so much for watching. Remember that you have all the ways that you can support my channel right there on the description. And if you want to join any of the book clubs or come and join me on any of my social media, I would really appreciate it. And also, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe if you haven't, so you can get notified whenever I upload more videos. I kind of had a schedule, but not anymore. So if you want to be up to date to when I'm uploading, make sure that you are subscribed and hit that bell so you can get notified. Remember to always keep reading and keep blooming, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.